Hey guys, welcome back. By now a little bit of the secret is out. You know we're doing a jazz intensive training center, which I'm super excited about. That's where all the content I've been recording is going to go out. I want to encourage you to check it out. I want to encourage you to consider it, regardless of what your background in music is, rock, jazz, classical, gospel, any and all of the other things out there, or if you're new to music itself. I think it's really appealing. And once you've learned jazz chords and some of the theory and ways of playing, it's applicable, and it makes a lot of other music almost easier to play. So that's a little overt sales pitch for you. But I'm very, very excited about it. I'd love for all of you guys to check it out. But if it's something that I think you like, I would say to strongly consider it. What I'm here back on camera for is to show you another great concept. So again, thanks for being here. If you want to leave a comment, go ahead and do that. For now, let me show you one last great concept to apply. This is going to be something over dominant sevenths. Dominant seventh. Let's do it over G. Major triad, G, B, D. Flat 7. Here's your octave. Here's your major 7. Here's your minor 7. It's called a dominant 7 because it functions as a 5 chord. It would go down to C a lot of the time. Okay? This is fine. This is a lot better. This is a nice voicing too. That makes it a 13 chord. F, B, E. But what you get with jazz is a lot of leeway. You get a chart or a piece of music, or someone says, oh, it's a dominant 7th chord. What they really mean is do as much as you can with it. So let me show you a great idea. Over this chord, we'll use FBE as a voicing, or FBD works too. E is probably better, or just F and B. You get what I'm playing. In your ear, you hear that as a dominant chord. This is heard as a major. This is heard as a minor. This is that dominant 7th sound, right? F and B. There's your 7th and your 3rd, or B and F, 3rd, 7, 1, 3, 5, 7, right? So let's just do it this way. B and F, F and B. On top, I'm going to alternate two things, E flat major and D flat major. E flat major, E flat G, B flat, D flat major, D flat F, A flat. So E flat G, B flat. Most people would say to play 1, 3, 5 for fingers. I'm stronger with my 4th, so I play 1, 2, 4 for small chords all the time. Whatever fingers you like. E flat, G, B flat, to D flat, F, A flat, okay? First thing, you're gonna block them together, right? E flat major, D flat major, E flat, G, B flat, D flat, F, A flat. Okay? Makes sense? These are two different, very altered chords. This one's a sharp 5, sharp 9. You end up basically sharping this 5th, which just means take it up a half step. You end up sharping this 9, which is the A. So essentially, I'm building off that. So that's where that E flat comes from. If you don't understand it, or don't care, or you just want the notes, fine, no problem. You go down to D flat, that's a flat 5. You're going instead up to E flat, sharp 5. Going down to D flat, 5, flat 5, and that A flat is the flat 9. So here's your G9 chord, or G dominant 7th, 9. Here's your flat 9, take it down the half step, take the 5th tone down a half step, and you get that D flat on top, okay? So if you want to think about all that, go ahead. If you don't need to, but that's where it comes from. Now, of course there's more than this, right? Anytime you play a triad or have an idea of 3 notes, you can always put those in at least 2 other orders, right? So, how do I continue this without having to jump all the way down to the E flat? Play the next E flat in a different inversion. What's an inversion? You move the notes around. So if I take this E flat major that I'm putting over the top, and I move the E flat up top, I have G, B flat still, right? And then the E flat on top. If I take the G from that and put it on top and hold the B flat and E flat, I have, it's all the same notes, just in a different order. That's an inversion. that's something if you don't know to practice. Move the E flat up top. Now keep the top two notes the same and move the G up top. It's all E flat major, just a different inversion. Back to this concept, I'm trying to alternate for you this E flat and the D flat. E flat, D flat, root position, 1, 3, 5. That's root position. Now, go down to that. B flat, E flat, G. So root position, B flat, E flat, G. Go down a whole step. All of those go down. Now you're on the, that's the D flat in a different order. Okay, so E flat, D flat, root position, then the different inversion. You're just taking it now down a whole step, which means you're skipping a note literally in between. So if you don't know the whole step, go down a half step. Just go to the second note. I use this stuff all the time. If you get a hard key to play in, no one's above moving stuff in half steps to figure out where you're at. So there's the D flat major, then back down, G, B flat, E flat, okay? So there's E flat again, right? There's the root, I'm taking the E flat up top. Let's start back at the top. E flat major, D flat major, then the E flat inversion, it's a second inversion. Here's the first inversion, here's the second inversion, what I'm playing. B flat, E flat, G, then 2, A flat, D flat, F. Break it up, just those first 4, right? Small pieces, guys, make things happen. Incremental change, people talk about that a lot. E flat major, D flat major. Here's the inversions. Good. Your top notes are these, B flat, A flat, G, F, right? Now where am I going? E flat's right there. G, B flat, E flat. That's the first inversion from the triad. So, then I'm going to go down the full whole step, right? Because in root position, they're a whole step away. So any inversion you use to move around is going to always be a whole step away. And then I'm back to the original that I started with. So it's actually only 6 chords, and then it repeats. I heard this in a major jazz club in LA. And you can use any 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 of these in any order you want. This is a really, really good example of taking a concept and blowing it up and expanding it, and hopefully just, you know, expanding your mind to say there's a lot of different ways to do it. So you can do it just this way. You can do it just those 4. You can do it up. Harder, definitely harder. Okay? To show this, I could spend hours on this. This is just to show all the different ways you can learn a concept and apply a concept, and that's what you want. And that's how I'm approaching the videos. So, last time through, I hope you guys have enjoyed this one. You can arpeggiate it, right? You can arpeggiate it going up. I can do and leave the middle note out and hit it third. All different ways. So I'll show you one of them. I think the first one I'll show you is leaving the middle notes out. I mean, all sorts of things. I can take the third note out, right? Take the G out. So here's breaking it up in a different way. E flat, B flat, G. So instead of just playing and blocking it, that's always the first step. You can go E flat, G, B flat, D flat, F, A flat. I'm just playing the notes at a separate time, right? Each separately. And it's going to resolve eventually to that nice voicing. Showing it to you, E flat, G, B flat, D flat, F, A flat, B flat, E flat, G, A flat, D flat, F, G, B flat, E flat, F, A flat, D flat, and then we're back to the same thing again. So what is this? Open tenths. I'm lucky to barely have big enough hands to play it. I love tenths. Great jazz pianists can walk those in one hand. I can't. Here's the voicing. C, E. If you can't hit it, you do it that way. You pedal it. In my right hand, A, D, G, B. A, D, G, B. Okay? In the first video, I worked on these. It's the same chord, just in C. Almost. And that one, it would have been F sharp, which makes it a totally different chord. This is just a C major 9. E, D. E, A, D, G, B. In your right hand, A, D, G, B. I want to show you guys as well that I'm always going to keep in mind hand sizes. So if you can't do it, these are the notes you need to play. You can break it up. In your left hand, if you want to do E, A, D and do G, B, D, in your right hand, go ahead. G major over E, A, D. I do fourth chords, I think, somewhere in the first couple of months, and that just means all different voicings you can do 4 notes apart. It's a much more modern sound, and people will know that you really studied the music. It sounds pretty professional. So if you have big hands, go ahead and play A, D, G, B. If you have smaller hands, break it up. You can just do E and A in your left hand. As long as you hit these notes, experiment, see what you like, how it sits. Okay? Or as long as you're hitting the notes. E, A, D, G, B. E, A, D, G, B. So we started back. You're going to block them out. You know, a lot of times it's just this. Or this. B, E, G, right? For that C major you're resolving to. Endless, 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 endless. So I don't want to give too much here and spend too much time with it. That's the general idea. E flat major of some sort, D flat major of some sort. You can go up, you can go down blocking it. You can arpeggiate it a bunch of ways that I showed you. And always end on that C major 7. One more thing just to clarify. You know, I always try to show things in as many ways as possible. It's really just a flat 6 and a flat 5. So in any key you are, how do you do a flat 6? I always know because the NBC, if you take that upper note and you flat it, that's flat 6. Or you take a fifth, a perfect fifth, 5 notes, whole step, half step, whole step, that's your perfect fifth, go up, that's your flat 6. And play a major triad, right? Which is just whole step, half step, whole step. And then you go a whole step down and play a major triad again, and that's your flat 5. So it's A flat major, G flat major here. Let's apply that in another key. How about F? Flat would be D flat for flat 6. Flat 5 would be B or C flat, either one. So, or C sharp major, B major, etc., etc. You take it down, you can take it up. So you got to find the flat 6 first, and then you go a whole step down to the flat 5, regardless of what inversion you use. If it's root position, or if it's first inversion or a second inversion, as I showed, they're always whole steps apart. The key is to find that flat 6. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. You hear this a lot in passing, just really quickly sometimes, but that's a lot better variety than just playing one chord. What I want to give you guys is your own color palette, and then you can choose which ones you want to play and make you sound like you, not necessarily like me. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you guys very, very much. I hope you've enjoyed this just on the dominant 7ths. At this time, you may have gotten an email about it. It may be out or it may not be at this point. My idea to record this was to give you guys more content and just for free, just to share that stuff with you guys. I really look forward to working with you further, bringing you guys in on this. It is going to only be available to a limited number of customers. The reason for that is because there are live elements to the course. There will be some Q&As, some other things involved as well. So that keeps it available to you to get your questions answered from me in a type of live format. So thanks again for tuning in. I hope you guys have enjoyed everything. I've got tons to show you. I look forward to working with you. Go ahead and leave me a comment. I'm always checking those out to do the best I can for you guys. Thanks again. I look forward to it. And remember, if you can hear it, you can play it.